welcome to the Culture Show here on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we'll talk to one of the producers of the radio show Israel Story. The Ice Bucket Challenge. We've all seen it. What is it really about? And we'll ask, is Hollywood taking over China, or is it the other way around? Israel Story is a radio show where ordinary, everyday Israelis tell stories from their lives. It also hosts literary figures to share new material. The show recently started airing in English for the benefit of those around the world who don't speak Hebrew. It was even featured in the New York Times. Very happy to have Yochai Meital, one of the show's producers, with me in the studio. Thanks for coming in, Yochai.
Hi, Oded. Happy to be here.
So, tell me how it all started.
Well, a couple of my childhood friends, Rui and Mishi, after the army, they went to study abroad in the U.S. And when they came back, they were hooked onto something that's called podcasts. And I didn't know what podcasts. I thought podcasts were just these like lectures, or something very boring like that. And they were really into it. And they I started listening because of them to all these programs like This American Life, of course, but also Radio Lab and Planet Money and The Moth, and
all of
I was just
the gems of NPR.
Yeah, and I was just blown away because it was so fascinating and riveting and entertaining, but also I felt like I was learning. And so they came up with this idea, like we need to bring this to Israel. So we kind of got together in one of our friends' apartment in Jerusalem, and just started brainstorming ideas. We didn't come from radio, so we didn't really know what we were doing. So our first move was we turned to This American Life, actually. And it turned out that one of the senior producers, Nancy Updike, actually lived in Israel at the time. And she was incredibly nice, and she met with us at a coffee shop in Tel Aviv, and just gave us a few pointers to start off with.
So you had This American's Life blessing in a way.
Oh yeah, I mean, from the start they were like actually very, very nice about us ripping off their show, and even helped us out. They even had us over for a couple of days where we just tagged along and sort of furiously wrote notes and tried to, copy their processes.
Now, you already had a whole season airing in Hebrew, and now you started an English version of the show. Was there a demand for an English version?
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, our English-speaking audience knows what we're doing. They have NPR and all these radio shows and stuff. So they're actually really into this kind of radio, especially like Jews in America and our big listeners and contributors to This American Life, of course.
Right. The feature in the New York Times couldn't hurt you too much as well.
No, it was great. But even before that, I mean, a lot of people were like, "Wow, we would really like to hear this. It's too bad it's only in Hebrew." And usually, most of what you get in the media coming from here, most of what you get is like news and politics and these kind of things. And we thought it would be
stories subjects that you guys shy away from most of the time.
Yeah, well, I think the first season we did shy away from politics somewhat, and sort of stayed in very personal stories that were sort of contained in themselves. I think in the second season we are trying to go into things that are a little bit more political and sort of current issues. But always our approach will be to look for the personal stories. And I think when you bring a personal story, even if it is a story that relates to a sort of a difficult political issue, the minute you just look at the person and his story, it opens you up, whatever your point of view is, to try and you can kind of feel the other side as well when there's a face and a name behind it.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If we go back to This American Life, Ira Glass, the host of This American Life, even was a guest on your show.
Yeah, he was very gracious to give us an interview for the opening of our English episode, which is called "Faking It." Sort of about our laughing at ourselves for ripping them off a little bit. Yeah, and it's great. You can check it out on Tablet Magazine. Our English episodes are a joint collaboration with Tablet Magazine, so you can check it out on our website online or on Tablet.
Certainly worth the time. Now, when you go out and interview people, are they willing to tell their stories? Are they eager to tell their stories?
It's kind of like forging a friendship. So it depends on the person. Actually, a lot of the times, the best tape I find are with people who were not so happy to tell, or were kind of shy or reluctant.
Where you have to work for it?
Sometimes you spend days just hanging out and sort of befriending people to make them comfortable and get them to trust you, because there is a lot of trust involved. I mean, you're giving your story to somebody else, and you don't know what exactly he's going to do with it. So
now your show, the Hebrew version, is also airing on the radio in Israel.
The Hebrew version is I'm going to be on Galei Tzahal on Saturday at 9, starting from this Saturday evening, and also on our website, of course.
Now, a few years ago, This American Life even produced a TV show. Any chance you guys are heading in the same direction?
Well, we had a few offers actually from different production companies to trying to get us into TV. But we like the radio. As I told you before, I'm really uptight here. I'm not into TV. Usually I hide behind the microphone, and I like that. And I think we have an advantage because so many talented people are telling stories on TV and doing documentaries and really, really good stuff. But there's sort of a black hole on everything that's everything that's connected to high production radio.
Right.
So it's exciting, new territory.
Yeah. So on your website, Israel Story, and on Tablet Magazine,
www.israelstory.org, and Tablet Magazine website. Check us out.
Well worth it. Yochai, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, Oded.
Moving on, the Ice Bucket Challenge is a PR stunt that went viral. All around the world, people are dumping buckets of ice water on their heads. But do you know why they're doing it? Charlotte Attal explains.
If you are at all active on social media, you couldn't avoid the Ice Bucket Challenge in the past few weeks. This challenge, making its way across the web, as silly as it is, has been taken up by hordes of internet users. Although most of them don't even know what it is about, they just follow the trend. But the challenge really became viral when celebrities started doing it. Dozens of them, including Jennifer Lopez, Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, and even tech gurus like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. If you are challenged, you have to pour a bucket of ice water on your head or make a donation to the fight against Lou Gehrig's disease. It started as a publicity idea by the ALS Association in America to raise awareness to the disease and help raise money for research. Celebrities have been calling each other out to take the challenge, resulting in increasingly elaborate videos.
I'm going to do it slightly different. Instead of doing one bucket of ice, what I'm going to do, I found this. It's called Blue Ice Vodka. And in lieu of the bucket of ice, I'll be drinking this. It's for a good cause.
I want to accept this challenge. I want to do it better than it's been done. Been working on this, got this design. There we go. Yeah. It's going to be great.
It seems that at the age of shorter attention spans, drawing attention to a charitable cause requires creating a viral video phenomenon. But of course, not every cause can attract world-famous celebrities and make them film themselves doing stunts. It also remains to be seen how much money the fight against Lou Gehrig's disease will actually make.
Oh man, that's cold!
The London Craft Beer Festival celebrates independent breweries and their homemade lagers and ales. Most importantly, for a small entrance fee, you can have all the beer you can drink. So have a cold one and watch this next report.
Nice hat, sir. Splendid. Don't forget to grab your receptacle.
The people of London and beer passionates will be pleased. Whether you like lager or ale, you'll find what you're looking for at the London Craft Beer Festival. London's Olympia is hosting the 4th Homemade Beer Festival. For 5 days, 24 breweries will gather together for a gigantic pub with more than 500 kinds of beer. Beer lovers can also enjoy live concert and food by local establishments. The event attracts beer lovers and connoisseurs, both men and women.
Maybe it's because it's not seen as ladylike to be, drinking a pint. Drinking a glass of wine is probably more ladylike, and I don't know, it's the association with big beer bellies and balding heads.
Now, nevertheless, this festival puts homemade beers in the spotlight and attracts more than 55,000 visitors.
It's like a zeitgeist, especially in London. That it's very fashionable these days, and basically what people want, they want something with provenance. You know, like there's local bread makers are now on the go, and cheesemongers. So it's exactly the same thing. People want to know what they're buying, where it came from.
As popular as they are, these beers have a hard time competing with commercial output.
If it's trendy or not, there's a lot of people around who love good beer, and good beer is good beer, wherever it comes from, whether it's a big brewery or a little independent.
In spite of the enthusiasm that English pour into their national drink, British pubs are slowly disappearing. According to the Campaign for Real Ale in the UK, the number of pubs forced to close is growing every year. In 2013, 26 pubs on average closed every week, and this year, 31 are forced to close every week. But for the moment, festival goers can drink as much as they want for just $16. The bar is open.
Cheers.
Not too bad. In the hot summer days, the people of Greece have a favorite pastime, outdoor cinemas. The picture quality may be a little off and the sound isn't the best possible either, but the atmosphere is well worth it. Let's take a look.
Just like his father before him, 86-year-old Mataios Potogas places the film reel in position. This is the Palace open-air cinema on a rooftop in an Athens neighborhood. For more than 60 years, these bells have been prompting audiences to take their seats and enjoy the spectacle.
Open-air cinemas definitely remain one of the most loved forms of entertainment for the Greek. Greeks love outdoor cinemas more than their winter counterparts. They anxiously wait for the summer to come because the open-air cinemas will commence.
Outdoor cinemas thrived in the 60s, with over 600 in operation in Athens alone. There are just 90 now in the capital, but open-air movie screenings are still a form of leisure rooted in the Greek DNA.
A good thing about open-air cinemas is that it takes you out of the house and into nature. It takes you to the sky, it takes you to the moon. And that, I believe, is something very fitting with the nature of Greeks.
Many believed the introduction of multiplexes in the 90s would wipe out outside cinemas, but history has proven them wrong.
People prefer outdoor cinemas, everyone tells us this. They let time go by for the summer to come and watch the films they missed during the winter. They truly love it.
Although many outdoor cinemas have upgraded their equipment to play new film releases, sound and image quality can still leave something to be desired. But who would want to see a documentary about the Acropolis on IMAX, when the Acropolis itself can be your open-air theatre? After years of austerity, the outdoor film experience provides some welcome escapism to Greek moviegoers.
And now from the Economy magazine, Daniel Roth is joining me in the studio. Hi, Daniel.
How's it going?
It's great. We're talking dollars versus yuan.
Yes, we're talking about America bringing Hollywood into China, and they're doing so with zeal and high success rates. How to Train Your Dragon 2, DreamWorks really made a huge bang there. Opening weekend, biggest cartoon opening weekend, $26.5 million. All
because of the dragon?
Perhaps because of the dragon. Hollywood Reporter is saying that it's because of the dragon. But across the board, if you look at the top 5 films in the Chinese box office, Godzilla, Edge of Tomorrow, X-Men, it's like all American films. You've got Angelina Jolie, Tom Cruise, all these stars coming to China. People are just... Hollywood is pouring into China and making a huge impact.
It's a huge market. It's why they are doing it is obvious, and I think the way they're doing it is also interesting.
Yeah, so it's having some effects on Hollywood itself. For example, Django Unchained was cut from the Chinese cinema because it was too violent. Okay. So they had to re-edit it. In the case of Red Dawn, the remake, they actually changed the villains from Chinese villains to North Korean villains in post-production because China refused to put the film in theaters, and it's such a huge market, over 1 billion people, that they said, okay,
now,
fine.
They're also choosing to shoot some films in China.
Yeah, so they're also, you know, this is one of the, I come from Canada, where if you put the name Canada in any corporate slogan, then Canadians will go buy it. So McDonald's isn't McDonald's, it's McDonald's Canada. The same is true in China. If they see Chinese sets, if they see Chinese locations, if China's mentioned, they'll also take a better liking to the film. You know, as in the case of Transformers 4, if you made it to the end of that film, you would know that the battle at the end takes place in a Chinese city, which is really indicative of these huge changes in the locations.
Very interesting. Daniel, thanks so much. Thank you for joining us as well. We'll be back tomorrow with a whole new edition. Join us again.